My entire life, I had been using a meat tenderizer incorrectly, and I only recently discovered how to do it properly. I can't even count how many times I've used a tenderizer in the kitchen, only to find out I had been doing it wrong all along. I always assumed that you just needed to hit the meat with the tenderizer, not realizing that the different sides of the tool serve distinct purposes. I never paid attention to the fact that a tenderizer has two different sides, one with a grid pattern and the other with stripes. It turns out that we should use them interchangeably, depending on the type of meat we're preparing. Using the correct side yields noticeably better results. The grid-patterned side is perfect for tenderizing more delicate meats like pork loin. To do this correctly, you should only use the striped side for tougher meats like pork neck or beef. This side effectively breaks down fibers that can toughen when exposed to high temperatures. It's specifically designed to handle muscle tissue and prepare it for cooking. Try this trick yourself, and you'll notice the difference at dinner. The meat will have a noticeably improved texture and flavor.
Najczęstsze błędy popełniane podczas gotowania kotletów mielonych, które psują jego smak. Pokażę Ci, jak ich unikać i zrobić pyszne kotlety mielone. Nie używaj gotowego mięsa mielonego. Zmiel w maszynce mięso z karkówki lub łopatki. Z takich mięs mielone wychodzą najsmaczniejsze. Idealnie soczyste, nigdy nie suche. Sekretną proporcją kucharzy jest dodanie mięsa wołowego i wieprzowego pół na pół. Nie mocz bułki w wodzie. O wiele lepiej sprawdzi się do tego mleko. Neutralizuje ono zapachy podczas smażenia. Do masy na kotlety nie dodawaj surowej cebuli, jest zbyt aromatyczna i twarda. Użyj wcześniej podsmażonej cebuli. Nie używaj także bułki tartej. Kotlety będą przez to twarde. Ważne, żeby masę na kotlety dość porządnie wyrobić. Będą bardziej zwarte podczas smażenia ich na patelni. Pamiętaj, aby namoczoną bułkę w mleku dobrze wycisnąć przed dodaniem do mięsa. Gdy mleka jest za dużo, możesz mieć problem z uformowaniem kotletów. Pamiętaj o dodaniu czosnku, wzbogaci smak kotletów. Jest on sekretnym składnikiem, który podbija smak mielonych. Odpowiednia ilość oleju na patelni jest kluczowa. Jeśli będzie go zbyt mało, kotlety będą się przypalać. Ilość samych kotletów na patelni również jest istotna. Zbyt dużo kotletów mielonych na patelni powoduje wytrącanie się wody.
Here is a tried and true recipe for a nutritious dinner. Start by cutting toast bread into small cubes, just as you usually do for croutons. Don't throw away the crusts. Instead, cut them into smaller pieces. Next, put them in a jar with milk and leave them for a while. Meanwhile, place the chopped bread on a baking sheet and put it in a preheated oven at 100 degrees Celsius. Bake it for about 10 minutes until it is crispy. Now, prepare the meat. Take 300 grams of chicken breast and cut it into smaller pieces. Cut one onion into 4 parts. Add the onion and chicken breast to a food processor or blender. After a moment, add the milk-soaked crusts. Transfer the blender's contents to a bowl. Add salt and pepper to taste. To improve the consistency, add 2 egg yolks. Mix everything well. The next step is forming the cutlets. Prepare a bowl of ice-cold water. On another tray, place the pre-toasted bread and the meat mixture. Wet your hands in the water and take a bit of the meat mixture. Shape the meat into an oval shape. Then coat it in the bread. Turn it over so that the cutlet is covered on both sides. Heat a pan over medium heat with a little oil. When it is ready, place the cutlets one by one and fry until they are golden on each side. Remove them and place them on a paper towel for a few minutes to get rid of the excess fat. You will be amazed at how tasty they are and how quickly they can be prepared. Pożarski cutlets are nothing more than ground chicken cutlets, but made a bit differently. They have been a staple in our home for years, and the whole family enjoys them. A juicy chicken roulade with colorful stuffing. Preparing the roulades takes only a few minutes of your time. Start by selecting a large chicken breast and carefully cut it in half. Then, pound the meat with a mallet to make it thinner and more tender. Season with salt and pepper on both sides. Prepare the stuffing by dicing some thick ham into small cubes and adding canned vegetables like bell peppers, corn, or mushrooms. One by one, following a sequence, add the vegetables and ham onto skewers. Then wrap the chicken around the stuffing, forming a roulade. For breading, prepare 2 separate dishes, one with breadcrumbs and the other with a beaten egg mixed with a cup of flour. Dip the roulades first in the egg and then in the breadcrumbs. Heat a small amount of oil in a pan over medium heat. Fry the roulades, turning them until they are golden on all sides. After frying, let them cool for 5 minutes. Serve with tomato sauce. This is an excellent recipe for a tasty and filling dinner. Preparing the roulades takes only a few minutes of your time. You'll defrost meat in 5 minutes. Quickly and easily. It's the perfect trick when you need to make dinner at the last minute. I'll show you how to defrost meat in 5 minutes. I'll take the meat out of the bag. I'll show you that it's frozen. Normally, defrosting would take at least an hour. Pieces of pork neck or pork loin, and even a whole piece of meat, need a lot of time after being taken out of the freezer before you can start frying or cooking them. But that won't be necessary anymore. This method of quick meat defrosting is a tried and tested trick. My whole family uses it. And despite the meat being truly frozen, it will be ready for further processing in just a few minutes. And the best part is, you only need 2 ingredients for this. And that's enough. Any frozen meat will defrost quickly. You'll be able to easily separate it and prepare dinner from it. Pour 2 liters of water into a container. The water should be at room temperature. It shouldn't be warm, let alone hot. Now it's time for the most important ingredient. It's vinegar. You can adjust the amount depending on the amount of meat you need to defrost. The more meat you have, the more vinegar you pour into the water. The second important ingredient is salt. For this portion of meat, I'll use a tablespoon of salt. Wrap the meat tightly in a bag. Place it in the water. Put something heavy on top so it doesn't float. I'll use a hammer right now. Take the meat out after 5 minutes and see the result. It's almost hard to believe that the meat is defrosted in just a few minutes. It was primarily the vinegar and salt that made the frozen meat soften so quickly. See how simple it is? You can start making dinner.
Delicious dinner with white cabbage. You won't want to eat regular meatballs anymore. Take 1 medium-sized cabbage. Cut it into 3-centimeter pieces from the top. Place each piece gently on a baking sheet. Season the cabbage with salt and pepper. Transfer the ground meat to a large bowl. Add 1 finely chopped onion. Crush 3 cloves of garlic and add them to the meat. Add a tablespoon of red pepper, a tablespoon of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of salt. Then sprinkle a tablespoon of nutmeg and Provençal herbs. Put on a rubber glove and mix everything thoroughly to evenly distribute the spices. Remove the glove and grease your hand with oil. Take a piece of meat and shape it into a round cutlet. It should be the diameter of 1 cabbage leaf. Then place it on the cabbage. Repeat the process. Add 50 grams of chopped chives to the bowl. Add 30 grams of dill. Then transfer 200 grams of natural yogurt to the bowl and 20 grams of tomato concentrate. Mix everything thoroughly until you get a uniform consistency. Spread the mixture over the cutlets with a spoon. Cover the meat completely. Place the prepared dish in an oven preheated to 180 degrees Celsius. Bake for 45 minutes. Meanwhile, make the sauce. Add 20 milliliters of milk to the natural yogurt. Add a clove of garlic and your favorite spices. Mix everything. Pour the dish with the sauce. This cabbage meatball tastes excellent. It is healthy and satisfying. My family loves it.